And you know how this ends? She's gonna marry Barron. And it's gonna create the greatest political dynasty in American history. God.
Great, that is just one snippet of Fox News' recent coverage of the ongoing Sydney Sweeney drama. We'll show you more of that in a second because Fox News has been covering a lot of Sydney Sweeney lately. But like Cenk, aren't there other stories that they could be covering, like the Epstein files, for example?
So guys, this is a classic case of how culture wars take over, okay? So if you hate the culture wars, pay attention to this story because it gives you a sense of how they multiply and try to distract you from the issues that actually affect our lives and who drives it, how it starts and who drives it. It's almost a CSI episode as we break down the crime scene here. So Yaz, give us the facts and then we'll analyze.
Okay, so according to an analysis from Media Matters for America, Fox has devoted over 7 times more coverage to Sweeney than the Epstein scandal recently. And more specifically, Fox News spent 4 hours and 50 minutes discussing the ad since July 28th. By comparison, Fox has devoted just 40 minutes to covering continuing developments related to the fallout from the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. So since we last dedicated an entire segment to the Sydney Sweeney story, since then, President Donald Trump has declared that her American Eagle ad was the hottest ad out there, gross. Also, Sydney Sweeney was revealed to be a registered Republican. Also, a video of Sweeney using a gun at a shooting range went viral. So Sweeney's ad has now inspired countless imitations and parodies. Both Lizzo and Beyonce have seemingly referenced the original ad. Now, as promised, here are more of Fox News hosts weighing in on the controversy.
I actually think, not that she had any problems on the romantic front, but I think this has really opened up many more possibilities for her.
Democrats should change their pronouns to "we suck." Okay, understand why Sydney Sweeney is relevant. She's really cool, and not to be crass, but she's got big boobs, Laura.
Do you believe that women are attacking this ad? And it's mostly women. Is it because they're envious, they're insecure? Do they think they're being oppressed by a commercial?
Being oppressed by a commercial, like they're really doing so much. And Cenk, I know you want to dive into this, but it is interesting because they keep saying that the left is obsessed with this story. We're not the ones talking about it, like maybe this story started in some like corners of the internet where someone said, oh, this sounds like eugenics, right? But then like the right just took it and ran with it and everybody else has moved on because we have other things that are way more important to actually be talking about. So we're talking about those things. But the fact that Fox News has spent so much time talking about this one story, so much less time talking about other stories. And we know how it works whenever we put together a show like this, right? Whenever you add something in, you have to say, okay, this is what I want to cover. This is what, I won't have time to cover on this show, right? So they're taking time to talk about Sydney Sweeney away from everything else going on in the world. Everything else going on in the world. There is a million things going on in the world right now, and they're talking about Sydney Sweeney. And it's unfortunate because there are some people who exclusively get their news from Fox News. So they would read that and say, first of all, the people on the left are crazy, right? They're all unhinged. They hate beautiful women or whatever it is that Fox News is telling them. And they're gonna know nothing about anything else that's going on. What do you think?
So let's start with how this started. So they put out the ad and they know that it's, when you talk about genes, somebody's gonna catch a tiny bit of feelings. They're hoping for some controversy, right? Genes as in DNA and stuff, right? So I don't think they're unaware of it when they put it out and they strike gold. Well, how do they strike gold? 2 or 3 randos, they were not large figures at all. I know because I was annoyed by them, fall right into that trap. In that case, that's just a marketing trap. So far, it hasn't gotten political, but they make it political, the lefties do, by saying, as expected, oh, this is an ode to eugenics, and somebody uses the word Nazi. Okay, it was just a play on words. It was genes as in DNA, no, her genes as her parent, okay, I got it, right? So for the people who went over the top like that, I criticized them too. I said, look guys, what are you doing? You're falling into their trap. Don't do that. Nobody cares. It's a genes ad, right? Okay, so at that point, the left is pretty much done with it. I don't see the left talking about it after that. Then after those 2 or 3 comments, I then see 2 to 3 million comments from the right wing, right? Sydney Sweeney, Sydney. I'm like, okay, I got it, guys. We already established this. Let's move on now. Let's go back to talking about things that are real, right? Whether it's they're taking our money and sending it over for a genocide, or they're not releasing the Epstein files. Or focus, right? But look at who's driving this machine on culture wars. Fox News is. Fox News pretends they're against the culture wars. Oh, I cannot believe I dug and found 2 or 3 comments from the left. I'm now going to pretend that they represent 75 million Democrats. And on top of that, I'm not gonna shut up about this story. Oh, boobs, 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 and oh, the Democrats are the worst. Okay, did they notice that we gave $4 trillion to the rich and that we increased the debt? They didn't notice, right? Don't talk about the debt. Don't talk about it. Oh, did they notice that we took away 12 million people's health care? Don't talk about it. Sydney Sweeney, did you see her boobs? Did you see her jeans? Culture wars, yes. So it's in the numbers. You just saw it yourself. 5 hours 5 hours is an eternity in cable news. Things usually last 5 seconds. 5 hours of coverage of this complete non-story. It's like they go on a set of Fox News and they got something in the bag and you're like, what is it? And they open up the bag and it's a bag of squirrels. Okay, distract everyone, divide everyone based on culture wars so they don't realize they're being robbed. All of our money is being taken and given to the donor class in every bill, in every piece of legislation. While I'm gonna say fighting over Sydney Sweeney, except nobody's fighting anymore. There's no one on the left who's complaining about it. It's just a cacophony of the right wing thinking that we nailed them. That's driving the culture wars. In this case, it's definitely predominantly the right. Maz.
First of all, it's kind of creepy that this 80-year-old dude is saying she's hot, like she's like 20 something. I mean, he's a creep. So Epstein. Secondly, it's to your point, Cenk. They always say the libs, they're obsessed, and they kind of tell their audience what the left is obsessed with, right? So they were like, oh, they first they wanted to bring transgender to your school. Now they don't want gas ovens. So they want to take away your gas. Remember they were saying that for a while, that the left is obsessed with taking away gas ovens, and I was like, are we? Is that a thing? Like,
were we also going to make everyone vegan at one point, or just Cory Booker was going to make everyone vegan?
And by the way, Maz is sorry, Maz, we can let you finish, but like, I've literally never heard of anyone on the left talking about gas stoves. Never. Like, have I heard of vegans? Yes. Have I heard of militant vegans putting a gun to people's heads saying, you better not eat animals? No, I haven't, right? So these are manufactured to divide us. Back to you, Maz.
Yeah. And they always start with like the headline. The left wanted you to do this and then to do that. Now they're obsessed with da-da-da-da. Like, even like this whole thing of like, they'll say, why is the left trying to force their transgender agenda on us? And when you actually research how many transgender people there are in this country, it's like 1 million or something. It's the smallest amount. And then they say, oh, they're trying to force us to be trans. They're going to try to encourage us to be transgender. They're trying to convert us to be trans. And you go, no, but I'll tell you who's trying to convert me. Evangelical Christians. Every time I go to a hotel, there's one of those Bibles in my nightstand asking me to become Christian. So, and there's many more of them than there are transgender people in America. And that goes back to this whole thing of this, like you said, this distraction with Sydney Sweeney. We don't care. We really don't care. And they have done a great job of convincing their audience that we do. And so the next time you're in a conversation with somebody that is a Fox News watcher, they're gonna say things like that to you. That's like the same thing they were doing with, again, using the transgender issue, or like the gas stove issue, or Whatever the windmills, whatever it is, they go, why are you so obsessed with it? Why are you so obsessed with cancel culture? Why are you canceling people? Why are you no? We are. It's just not the case. And so you're right on. It's a big distraction. I honestly didn't care about Sydney. I don't even know who Sydney Sweeney is. Like whatever. Gene ad, great, good for you. Congratulations. I mean, really? That's what we're talking about when there's people being slaughtered in Gaza, when there's people, when they're stealing our money, like you just said?
Nope, can't talk about that.
Yeah,
nope.
Come on.
That's where it stops. Yeah.
Wake the F up.
Yeah, one last thing. Look, guys, I made a big deal out of this, pissed off a lot of people on the left. I think on trans sports, we did fall into their trap. Like, a lot of people on the left wouldn't let it go, They like went along with the right wing as if it was like the biggest issue in America, right? And so that drove me crazy, and I drove them crazy, and we fought over it, etc. But in this case, we're not falling into the trap. The left is doing the right thing. Nobody's talking about Sydney Sweeney. So the right is shadow boxing, and they don't realize it. Like, they get into this frenzy, and they're like, oh, we got the left. Who on the left? Was there, name me a single Democratic congressman or senator that's saying, oh, Sydney Sweeney ad is terrible or whatever, right? Or a big media figure. No, okay, so right wing, if you're worried about it, I'm telling you right now, the official left wing position is we don't give a shit, okay? Move on. Look at the robbery.
That is the official position from the left.
Yes.
Call it.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.